The Altona by-election is in its final days, with voters to decide this Saturday who their next MP will be. Although it appears some people still haven't given it much thought.
There's actually quite a lot of people that don't actually know it's on yet.
8 candidates have nominated for the Western Suburbs electorate, vacated by former Public Transport Minister Lynn Koski when she resigned last month for personal reasons. Altona is a safe seat for the Labor Party, easily winning the two-party preferred vote at the last election. The Liberals need a near impossible 20.2% swing in their favour to win, but Labor candidate Jill Hennessy on the left was playing down her chances.
Well, I take nothing and no one for granted, and I'll leave the poll commentary to other people.
Liberal candidate Mark Rose is hoping voters frustrated with the Labor government will turn his way, but he also wouldn't predict a winner.
I am fighting for every single vote, and I think we're going to be in with a good show, and it's going to be a big fight.
Sure, so you are confident of actually winning the seat?
As I said, I'm fighting for every single vote, and I will take every vote, one vote at a time. This is their last chance to send a strong message to Brumby and the Labor government that they've had enough, that they're sick and tired of being taken for granted and the neglect in the area. A Liberal government will listen.
One candidate trying to tap into concerns about public transport is David Strangward, although the Greens candidate has been restricted in getting his point across.
To work at the same time is a challenge, so our campaign in the morning and the evening, doing door knocking and out getting to the electorate, and then trying to fit a bit of work in between it. So it's been a pretty busy time, but small business is always pretty busy.
Mr Strangward said people in the electorate's growth areas were missing out.
It really is an issue where people are isolated. It is an issue where they don't have the same access to facilities that others do. And I think when you're looking at places like Point Cook, Sanctuary Cove, Tregonina that are new suburbs, we shouldn't be building suburbs without this sort of infrastructure in this, with the start of the 21st century. We should be doing better than this.
Also with big ideas on public transport is former tram conductor Margarita Windich from the Socialist Alliance.
What we really need to improve public transport would also be fully staffed stations. We don't really need more police on public transport like the Liberal Party advocates. We just need people who are rail workers, who are customer service officers, who basically help people get on and off the trains, but also who can give people information. And I also want to campaign today to improve our public transport system, which we think is entirely feasible, entirely possible, and what really the travelling public deserves. We want to have more trains. We think it's entirely possible. There should be heaps more buses, and frankly, public transport should be made free. If we want to deal with some of the questions of climate change, to get cars off the road, we need to give people an incentive.
4 independents have nominated for Altona: Brigenda Nain, Brian Shaw, Andrew Rickson and Liz Mumby. Mrs Mumby from Point Cook said she was one of the few candidates who lived in the electorate.
I really think that an independent candidate rather than a party candidate will be better for Altona, because we don't need to play the party line to make sure that that's okay. So it's basically you cut out the middleman, if you like.
Whoever wins this Saturday's poll will work out of here, Lynn Koski's former electorate office in Point Cook, but they won't have time to get comfortable. The state election rolls around in November, meaning the new MP will be locked in another campaign, this time to try and retain their seat, which means more campaign photo ops and political banter like this.
Next Saturday, voters will have a clear choice. They'll be able to choose between voting for a government that has delivered services, jobs, hospitals and fantastic education for people of the West, and an opposition that has been lazy, that takes the West for granted and who has closed down their services in the past.
James Twining, leadernews.com.au